with alcohol, don't we? I mean, people can't hide it. Your base animal instinct is always under the surface anyway. You just have that 2% layer on the top that's civilized human, being nice, maybe nodding a lot. But you add some alcohol in there or certain types of drugs, and that's gone. First thing that's gone, that human civility. You're right down to the base instincts. I want fucking. I want food, good food. I want more to drink because this has helped me relieve my pain, physical and psychological. And I want fucking. And I want food. And I want less pain. And I want more fucking and more alcohol and more food and less pain. And I think I'm going to get in a fight with this fucker because he looked at my girl. And I think I'm going to key somebody's car randomly. And I'll probably go kill a small animal so I can feel manly. But I'm not going to mess with the transvestite. Not this time. When I drink tequila, maybe we talk to the tranny. Right now, I'm just going to stick to, at most, a hermaphrodite. Don't forget pooping. Yes, pooping, shitting is a big deal. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I get my reading done. Also, I have to recommend that if you do like to read in the bathroom, which isn't very sanitary, by the way, but don't get me talking about fecal bacteria, you may want to look into the series called Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. It's an amazing series, factoids, little trivia things that you would have never been interested in, but they hook you with this shit. You can't stop reading it once you start reading it. Very nice, consolidated. They have longer stories and the shorter one-liner, little factoids. Good stuff. It's what you would imagine Bob Barker would read on his toilet if he were alive. Has he died? If not, he looks dead. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, he's dead. He should be. I think even if he's still alive, he's dead. I think you can die before your body stops working, folks. I honestly do. I think it's clear in a lot of... You go to some of these retirement homes. And now, I know you're not going to do this, which allows me to say anything right now with some degree of credibility. But if you do, and you look into some of these people's eyes, you'll see that they're gone. They've left. They checked out. They paid their phone tab. They paid for the 900 number calls. They paid for room service. They left the key. They took a hand towel. But that's all, and that's only because they lost their own on the way over. So they did take a hand towel, but they're done. Now this has become a literal shit show. That's right. We go from figurative to literal in the snap of a vagina. Kerpack! Yeah, we do. I think you can learn a lot in the bathroom. I mean, what else are you going to do in the bathroom? All right, if you're not fapping and you're sitting on the toilet, I don't know about you guys, but can you shit in 30 seconds? Shitting is a process to me. And I'm not going to get into the stages, but you know how there's stages to like rocket launches? Well, if you turn that upside down, goblinka. I got to check in with comms. I got to check in with medics. All those, there's 16 things on the checklist. Get all that going. Eventually, we do get the rocket airborne, but that's just the beginning of our job. Because now we got to direct the landing and the trajectory and the direction and make sure it doesn't hit and skip off the atmosphere and end up around Pluto or being poop around Uranus. And once that's all set up, we still got to, well, we don't have to get it back. Not with shit. We just have to get it down. We have to get, well, some people get theirs back. You fucking people that are inspecting your feces for fiber, and Dennis Leary said the same thing. You got too much time on your hands. Fuck that. I will never look into my shit to try to find something, to see if things are going well. Forget about it. I'm dying. If my doctor says, look, if you don't get more fiber, you're going to die of knee cancer. I'm going to say, okay, can you just run the morphine drip now? Because I'm not looking in my shit. That's something I was not designed to do. This human, with this mind, will not be looking into his own shit. Well, it could save your life. Well, fuck my life then if I got to look into my own shit to see how I'm doing. Fuck my life. I'm done with that. Yeah, I'm checking out. Dennis Leary, great American or greatest American? That's right. Well, he was a Canadian, so I don't know. I think he's a Canadian anyway. Most of our good talent comes from Canada. Yug, Yugo, Guy, backwards spellings. So tell me something, guys. Barco and Guy are about, let's see, since you guys are the only ones active in the chat room, you get my time. You're about, I'm just doing my math here as an English major, about 10 years apart. You're not going to answer me honestly anyway. I don't know why I'm asking this question. But how often do you think about having sex with a woman? Or just with anybody, but I assume that, I think you guys are hetero, so it would be a woman. How often do you think about it? How often do you imagine it? How often do you wish it was happening? On a given day, one 24-hour period that's average for you. I want to know. Does just a commercial coming on TV with a girl in a skimpy shirt send you into that mode? Because what I'm noticing with me is that I don't even hardly think about it anymore. You know, it's like when I do, it's pleasant. It's like, oh yeah, sex. Yeah, that's pretty hot. And then I'm like, hot. How hot is the sun? Let me see if I can remember. 5 billion Celsius? Gone. Yeah, 51st dates, man. Always happens. Urban Dictionary. Stabbathan McHugs, the Logic King, is in the chat room. Stabby, how do you keep making enemies? I've never been really offended by you, even when you corrected me. How come Stabby and Apocalypse don't get along, you guys? We need some marriage counseling in here. We need to fix this. I don't like broken relationships on my chat room. Young urban gay. So Barco likes the young urban gays. Twink with a drink. I get it. I know what you're after. Everybody's got their thing, or a couple of things. Some people do prefer to have sex on a goat. It doesn't matter if the goat's living. But I think it probably comes from thousands of evolutionary psychology years of us herding goats, and we suddenly started to connect goats with sex, and then bam, goat sex, goat. But you don't want to fuck the goat, you just want to fuck on the goat, because in the back of your mind, what you realize is that goat is my survival. So I'm creating life on top of my life. That's a double fuck. You can't get better than a double fuck unless you're doing doggy during a hockey game. Bam! Bam! Yeah, you guys weren't ready for that shit at all, and I know that you weren't, because I wasn't ready for that shit. And for that, you get a bajanka. Or you get a bajanka. Bam! Yes, I said it, God damn it. Oh, why are we doing a show right now? Because Guy made me do a show. Apocalypse started to twist my arm, but he couldn't get it because I think he's considerably shorter than me. But actually, Guy's about my height, so he completed the twisting of the arm, forcing me into an uncomfortable position where I had to choose. Do I do a show, or do I just do my little trick where I let people rip my arm off and have the doctor put it back on later? Or do I try to do a mule kick? And, if you're not really mad at somebody, you don't want to use the mule kick. That's a last resort. I mean, I've used mule kicks to send guys flying like 10 yards. They don't get up after that one. They're trying to talk to you, but they can't. They're like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have fucked with me. You got the mule kick. You should have put a saddle on me. I might have taken you somewhere before I destroyed your ass. Topping twinks isn't gay, Paul Dembski told me. Ooh, Paul Dembski, if you're listening to this episode, my friend, you have just been beaten upon by the formidable Barco. And Guy Shea did not hold him back at all. He let him freely launch at you. And for that, you probably should do something that a Vermonter would do. And I'm just going to leave that to your imagination, but it has something to do with maple syrup. This I can be sure of. Okay, so guys, tell me what I've missed on Spreaker. I've been in my own little world, working on book stuff and backed up on computer stuff and got people in hospitals and shit. So I don't know what's been going on Spreaker, except for the couple of shows I've stopped into. Where's this place going? I mean, Guy, Barco, do you see us here in a year in this same chat room having this same discussion? Isn't there a continuum here? We got to do something. Barco went wild nigger on that PDS. You mean, okay, it's dying. So we're on a ship that's sinking. Even the rats have crawled off already, but we're riding it out. We're riding it right out. I'll take it down to the bottom of the ocean. I'm a captain. I'll sink with my ship. 5 years later. So seriously, are you having problems with PD and RD? Is that a Chicago versus Netherlands problem? I mean, I can imagine some big personality conflicts there. What I don't really understand is why RD wants to write down everything I say, because that scares me a little. Because I know one day I'm going to come home, and he's going to be out by the bush, and he's going to go, Kevin, I have a few notes that I took right here. I just need to talk to you about these for a sec. I know I sound a little German, but I've been traveling, and you know how sometimes your accent can get a little funny, and I might sound a little like Terrence McKenna. And then I'm going to be very terrified at that point and I never get scared. But, with RD, if he looks like Terrence McKenna and he's talking like that in my front yard with notes, major flags will go up. And flags don't go up on me very often. I think they either just stay up or they don't care. But this would send flags up. I mean, you'd see flagpoles rising out the top of my head and little Asian flags and Vietnam, when it was just going to be when it was going to be the North beating the South. And no, the South beating the Viet Cong, the VC beating the NVAs beating the Southern. Fuck them all. Is this where we say nuke them all? Yeah, why not? Let God sort them out. I'm afraid there might not be a God. So there may be no sorting at all. I think you just kind of melt back into the earth and become part of the cosmic fucking filth. We came from filth. We will return to filth. There's one thing that can save you. One thing. And that is if we can get your mind onto I'm just going to say hard drive, although that's a major understatement for what this thing would have to be, because it would have to have both storage and computing power. But a big giant hard drive with its own processor. Get that going, have it solar powered or some shit. So you'd be good for at least 5 billion years. And you could continue to exist that way. I honestly don't think I'd want to. Because, what's the whole point of this life? If you've already kind of done your thing with your family, and now you retire, or you're medically retired, what is your goal? What are you trying to do? Just read all the books? What the fuck good is that? You're going to die anyway. Why bother to get more intelligent? Why bother to acquire wealth or status? Is it so you can keep getting laid? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. A lot of times life doesn't make sense to me. I think we're fooling ourselves a lot of times into believing that there's a purpose to this. And the only thing that gives me hope is the thought that if we keep going, we should probably keep breeding, because future humans might get to something big. Maybe it's on another planet. Maybe it's in another dimension. Maybe it's a spiritual awakening that becomes literal, and one that you can see and touch and taste and smell and feel, much like a turd. But it might be that all this is for nothing. Have you considered at least the possibility? Set your religion aside for a second. We're going to get deep into this shit right about now. We're going down, Stabby. I warned you. So let's say there is no God. Let's say we don't make it off the planet. Let's say every living being on this planet and the molecules that might create living beings on this planet dies. Something happens, something terrible, something catastrophic, combination of shit. It's a solar storm from hell along with a meteorite impact. You got no chance. You can go underground, you'll still be dead. It's going to get you. What would have been the point? If we were an alien experiment, then I guess they got an F, or they already got their A and they're done with us. So they threw some shit at us. I don't know. When you took your experiment in to the science teachers and you had mold growing on bed that you placed beneath the toilet and you had the blue and the green growing, you said, this is how mold grows on me. This is yeast. This is a fungi. Then you threw it away. You threw it away in a garbage can. It went to a dump, got crushed up, eaten by microbial life, just to be shit out, and they died too. So what's the point of all this? I'm looking in the chat. You guys got to give me something to go on. You can't prove there's a God. I can't prove we're going to make it off this fucking planet. So what is the point of life? What if there is no point? Here's the question I'd have for you. Let's say you get to your deathbed and you have an amazing and deep revelation and you know that you've got the truth. And you say, Kevin, I can't believe it, man. I just got a peek into the cosmic totality of the universe. And I believe fully now that humans served no purpose and will serve no purpose. Then my question for you would be, was the hard part of your life overcome by at least half by the easier and more fun part of your life? Was it worth it? Was it worth it to just exist and sense and have some output? What was that about? Maybe nothing? Maybe we have no reason to be here. It looks to me like the direction that we go in with our thinking models is we're going to kill each other. We're trying to all the time. I think that's natural from competition, but it goes overboard. And when overpopulation comes, if you've ever seen the psychology studies, and I tend to draw a lot of parallels between humans and animals, where you've got rats packed into a relatively confined space, that's where the term backbiting came from. And they're starting to kill each other. There's just too many of them.